Now I am going to talk about adolescence and adolescents. Adolescence is the time or period, and adolescents are the boys or girls who pass through adolescence, and it is the time from 13 to 19 years old, or it is the time starting from 10 years to 19 years. And you can see the picture of this book. The name of this book is a concise book of uh, obstetrics and gynecology. I am going to read from this book. The chapter number 2, I am going to read this for you for your better understanding. Adolescence. It is the period of life during which the carefree child becomes the responsible adult. Adolescents in Bangladesh, both male and female, constitute about quarter of total population. Some preference and low status of women in Bangladeshi society affect girls' adolescents' nutrition, education, and access to public health. Early marriage and early matrimony affect their overall health status. When they are married, only then they get maternal care and family planning service. Unmarried adolescents do not have access to health care. They need the following. Number one, proper nutrition and hygienic practices. Number two, information about puberty, safer sexual behavior, and how to avoid health risks. Number three, inform parents about their health and psychological needs. Number four, proper treatment of common health problems where needed. Number five, management of common psychological and menstrual problems. In this age, sex matured but unmarried. The adolescents are sexually matured but they are unmarried. The adolescents are at risk of exposure to sex prior to marriage, where risk is related to uninformed and unprotected adolescent sexual activities. It may not be a burning problem in countries like ours, like Bangladesh, but prevalent in most developed countries like United States of America, like Canada, like Australia, like New Zealand or XYZ. Increases exposure to sexually transmitted infection and HIV. High prevalence of malnutrition, iron deficiency anemia, iodine deficiency disorders, etc. Sex education during adolescence. The problem of adolescence is that the girl regards herself as a grown up and adult, whereas physical and emotional maturity are not achieved until several years after the menarche. The management of the adolescent is difficult. The girl should not be rebuked or ridiculed, but her move towards independence respected and controlled within limits. Affection and trust should take the place of orders. She should be encouraged to be continually occupied in either work or healthy recreation within limits of her physical strength. Sex education should come naturally and piecemeal throughout childhood. Sex instruction should be merely part of the general education of the child, acquired from day to day in course of family conversation. Today's adolescents need to be armed with sufficient information to protect against the hazards of sexually transmitted disease like HIV infection and other reproductive tract infections, and to avoid the psychological and physical consequences of unwanted illegitimate pregnancy. Now let's know what is puberty. Puberty means the stage of becoming functionally capable of procreation. It occurs at the age of 12 years in girls and at the age of 14 years in boys. Puberty is really the first part of adolescence, the reminder being corrected with mental and emotional adaptation to sexual function and with the development of full maturity. Menarche. Now let's know what is menarche. Menarche is the onset of menstruation. It is the manifestation of puberty. In adolescence, both physical and mental growth occur. Physical growths are a sprout of growth in both sexes, development of breast in girl, development of pubic and axillary hairs and genitalia in both sexes, change of voice in boys. Now, let's know about counseling. That means during this time, adolescents need counseling. So, what is the process of counseling? Sorry. Counseling is a continuous process. It begins with a prospective client approaching the counselor for advice and goes on as the prospective acceptor becomes an acceptor and subsequently a continuing user. It is thus an ongoing dialogue between the provider and the acceptor. As the status of the acceptor changes over a period of time, so does the need of counseling. Counseling can therefore be of two types. Number A, counseling of the prospective client. Number B, counseling of the continuing user. The six possible essential elements of counseling has been formulated as a memory or memory aid in the word gather, which stands for gather, Gather. G for greeting client in a friendly and helpful way. A for asking clients about their family planning need. T for telling clients about available family planning methods. ACE stands for helping clients about available family planning methods. E E stands for explaining how to use the method chosen. R stands for planning return visits. So now let's talk about specifically counseling helps acceptors to decide whether they want to practice family planning or to recognize their individual needs of family planning or to choose an appropriate method catering to those individual needs or to practice the chosen method safely and effectively. Since the adolescents need counseling, so let us talk about the aids to counseling. What are the aids? What can be done to help the counseling? Counseling is more effective when family planning providers use audiovisual support materials. These materials help clients understand and remember more. They help providers remember everything to cover during counseling. Ideally, an array of audiovisual aids should be used, such as posters, displays, and exhibits that show clients what family planning methods are available even before they talk with the staff. Films, videos, slideshows, flannel boards, chalkboards, flip charts, and checklists that help make points clearer. Illustrated booklets and pamphlets that clients also can take home to remind them how to use a method and to encourage them to talk to others. Cards or letters that remind clients of appointments and introduce them to providers when they are referred, and manuals for training staff and for reference counseling. Now let's see counseling in family planning. What is counseling in family planning? To counsel means to give advice or to consult or to give consultation. However, counseling carries a special implication, a special signal when applied to family planning programs. Counseling in family planning refers to a face to face communication between providers and clients that helps the latter make free an informed choice about family planning and to act on those choices. So that's all about adolescence and adolescents. So this is the book from which I have read this, and this is the page from which I have read, and this is another page from which I have read. And lastly, this is the last page. You can see chapter 2, adolescence. So from this book, I have read these topics for those who are now adolescents or who are experiencing the age of adolescence. So adolescents should be carefully monitored because adolescents are very self-conscious, self-careful, and they are very sensitive. So in this case, we should not rebuke them, we should not scold them. Rather, we should treat them patiently, with love and care, and hoping our adolescents will get a good food, good nutritious food, will have a good health, will have a good future. So thank you very much. And this is a channel of education, not for joking, not for cracking jokes, not for fun. But sometimes you should know that education is itself a fun. The big fun in the world is education. If you are educated, you are a funny person. You can make people fun because when you go to a doctor knows everything of human health. When you suffer from a disease, you are in trouble. An educated man makes you funny by removing your disease. So education is fun. So be committed to be educated because education is the key to building peaceful society which you can use to change the world. Only education can change the world. So thank you very much and wishing you all to watch all other videos in this channel. Thank you. Bye bye.